Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And once again, this is the one-day chart. We're sitting here at $1.88. Yes, XRP is below $2. It's crashing with Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin's under 78K. Remember yesterday, all the Bitcoin maxis were like, Bitcoin loves a stock market crash. Bitcoin's decoupling from the stock market. And I even said yesterday in that video that maybe the crypto space is going to have a delayed reaction. Now we're seeing the actual reaction, and everything is dipping right now. I just cannot wait until XRP decouples from Bitcoin, because right now we are following Bitcoin. If Bitcoin dumps, XRP dumps. If Bitcoin rises, XRP rises. If we decouple from Bitcoin, XRP can run even when Bitcoin is crashing out. But we're just not there yet. You know what's next, and you see the bear trap. We've seen this multiple times in this cycle already. This same graphic. And everybody's saying once again, we are in a bear trap. This cycle is so much different than any other cycle we have ever seen, because we've never seen how tariffs, affect the crypto space. Now we know, now we understand it. If Trump talks about tariffs, you could bet the price of these cryptocurrencies are going to fall. And now there's talk of a recession and even a crash similar to '08. Back in '08, we didn't have crypto yet. So nobody really knows how crypto would react to a major crash like that. But now we have a good idea on what would happen. If another '08 crash was to happen right now, crypto would go with it. We would crash like never before. Conspiracy or strategy? Is Trump orchestrating a market crash? I see a lot of people saying he's crashing the market on purpose. And why would he do that? Why, Trump is trying to crash the stock market by about 20%. One, when stocks drop, investors move money to safer assets like U.S. bonds. Two, that pushes the Fed to cut interest rates to stabilize the economy. I already seen J.P. Morgan and others saying that the Fed has no choice now but to do an emergency rate cut. Let's wait and see what happens. 3, lower rates help Trump refinance U.S. debt at cheaper rates. It also makes everything else cheaper. 4, Trump uses tariffs to pressure companies to build in the United States. 5, if they build here, they avoid tariffs. Other countries respond with their own tariffs. 6, that forces U.S. farmers to sell more food locally, meaning cheaper groceries. 7, 94% of stocks are owned by just 8% of Americans, the rich. 8, a stock market drop hurts the rich but lowers prices, helping everyday people. I just seen Scott Bessent say something very similar to that. He said that we would see the normal people, in other words, the people that are riding debt in the United States, they would start to get a level playing field with a market crash, because it would be like the money shifting from the rich to the poor. So maybe they are trying to crash the market to give more of a level playing field. 9, Trump keeps switching up tariffs. One day, 25% on Mexico. Next day, nothing. 10, this confuses markets and pushes money into bonds. Safe but low return. So think about it like this. Donald Trump knows exactly what happens when he talks about tariffs. I mean, at this point, everybody knows what happens when tariffs are talked about. The market crashes. So, are they doing this to lead us into the new financial system? Because I see other people saying that. This is the point we were waiting for. This is that moment. They're going to crash the current financial system, leading us into the new financial system and the rise of the Phoenix, XRP. But I just don't think we're quite there yet. I think there's going to be even more pain going forward before we get to see the good times, the recovery times, the epic times where XRP is absolutely achieving new all-time high after new all-time high. Breaking: a market crash was not part of President Trump's plan, White House advisor says. When they have to come out and tell you this, you know that's what's actually happening. Because that's like coming out and saying, yeah, we kind of knew this was going to happen, but it wasn't part of the plan. Just in, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says tariffs will not be postponed and will remain in place. The president needs to reset global trade. The key word there is reset. Here's what's going to happen with trade. This is that transition period. They are going to push everything over to digital inside of trade. There's no longer going to be paper inside of trade. They're also going to bring in automation. The rest of the world is already pushing towards automation inside of trade. The US has to do the same thing, or we will get left behind. But when he says reset, it's almost like they are resetting the current financial system, and we will see the rise of the digital system very soon, and with it, the rise of the Phoenix. Dow futures fall 1,500 points Sunday as Trump tariff market rout escalates. So if this is already happening on a Sunday evening, you know how the market is going to open up this morning. Most likely in the red. Now, a lot of people said that everybody's going to be scrambling to buy the dip on the stock market, and we will see a rebound. If that happens, crypto will also rebound as well. If that doesn't happen, you can expect the price of these cryptocurrencies to fall even more. I see people now saying 69 cents for XRP. I mean, if XRP goes below $1, that's going to be an epic buy point for anybody that missed out on cheap XRP. I'm talking dirt cheap XRP. That gives you one more chance to stack an even bigger bag before this market pulls a full 180. And that's going to happen. This market is going to recover. I see people saying, I lost so much money today. You didn't lose anything unless you sold. And if you sold, you are soon going to regret it. Morgan Stanley says, a U.S. recession that drags the global economy down is increasingly a realistic bear case. So they're already predicting a recession, and a lot of people would argue that we're already in a recession. But if this gets worse from here, you could expect more pain before we get to the recovery phase for these cryptocurrencies. But the recovery would be absolutely incredible. I still think that we're going to see an alt season very soon. But I think you can have tariff talk during alt season, or we are not going to see the epic run everyone is expecting. That's why real world events have a major impact on your investments. And it doesn't matter what you're invested in, because everything right now is falling. And Charles Gasparino had this just stick the knife in the already bleeding wound. Where is the bratwurst bro to explain why XRP isn't a flight to quality hedge? He just had to put that out there. This guy absolutely hates XRP. But wait until Charles realizes that the phoenix is about to rise from the ashes. Wait until XRP breaks out. You won't be hearing from Charles Gasparino anymore. And I said that we are waiting to see how much crypto the U.S. is holding. This comes from Eleanor Tourette. The deadline for federal agencies to report their crypto holdings to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is today, according to a White House official. However, the executive order didn't require the findings of the audit to be made public, only that they be reported to Bessent. Unclear as of now if and when the findings could be made public. You know, if they're not going to make it public, think about it like this. What if they know that a lot of the Bitcoin that they think they're holding is gone? That would, and they did make that news public, that would have a major, major impact on the price of Bitcoin. It would plummet down so quick if the US Bitcoin is gone. And there's a good chance of that because we don't know about all the shady dealings that Biden had going on behind closed doors. I mean, Ukraine got that Bitcoin from somewhere. They're the fourth biggest holder, and they don't mine Bitcoin in Ukraine. They claim it all came from donations. Donations from where? The US government? We really don't know. So if they don't make that information public, it wouldn't affect the market at all, and we just move forward. So we're still waiting to see what happens with this as well. But right now, if you look at the price of XRP, I know a lot of people are very discouraged. If it goes down lower, like people are expecting, you are going to get a very good buy the dip entry price if that happens. I want to stay optimistic. But today is the day you watch the stock market because the stock market is going to tell the tale on where we go from here. I'm hoping XRP breaks back above $2 very soon. This is the make it or break it moment. Either we make up $2 very quick or we break much lower from here. But I always tell you, expect the worst and hope for the best. Until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and we will get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.